It's time now for the latest news on what's hot and what's not in the world of technology with Mathew Dickerson on Tech Talk. Here on DCFM 88.9.
Morning, Matthew. How are you?
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about, it might be hot and it might not be hot. It'll be interesting, Richard.
It will indeed. I'm going to just ask you to stay a little bit longer with us today and explain what's happening with all the new Apple gear.
Sure.
I imagine you've got your head around it at the moment, you being an Apple fan. But anyway, let's in the meantime talk about smart glasses by Google and Ray-Ban. They've combined together to bring us this particular story. It's a weird one.
Well, it's actually Facebook and Ray-Ban. It used to be Google. They actually had some glasses out back in 2014, and they were called smart glasses, but they ended up making Google look just a little bit dumb. And I'm surprised to a certain extent that Facebook have come up with this idea, but they've obviously forgotten about the whole Google experience, and they said, we'll give it a go as well. So they've brought out glasses that are quite stylish glasses. They look quite impressive, again, as you can imagine, from Ray-Ban, but they've got a couple of little video cameras in them, some microphones, little speakers inside them. So you and I could be sitting having a coffee one day, Richard, when we can finally do that again, and I could have my glasses on, and next thing you know, the conversation we had is posted on all my social media channels. And you go, what happened there? How did that happen? And again, I can be recording what's happening in my life, whether it be videos, whether it be photos. I can record all the things that are happening. Now, obviously, Facebook want you to do this so you can post all this information on Facebook and really show everyone what's happening in your life. But there's some pretty big concerns around privacy with this. And if we go back to the Google Glass example in 2014, there was one particular bar in San Francisco. They were the first one to do it. They banned anyone wearing the Google glasses in their particular bar because they're worried about privacy of their patrons. And they got to the point where they put a sign up and they said, no glass holes here. Glass holes not welcome. And obviously the play on the word glass hole. And so anyone wearing those glasses was not welcome in that particular bar. So there have been a couple of other examples. Snap did it as well, where they tried some glasses with cameras built in, and it's never really worked that well. So I'm not sure why Facebook think their model will work better than all these other attempts, but they're giving it a go. So, as you say, it might be hot at the moment, and it mightn't be long before it's not that hot.
Yep, indeed. We'll wait and see. Now, Roomba, that's the little thing that travels around your room and vacuums the floor, and it won't bump into tables, and it just keeps on going and then finds its way home again to charge up. Apparently, it's now smart enough to avoid pet poo.
Now,
where do you find these stories?
Well, it's actually quite good because I've got a couple of the Roombas. I've got one at my shop and one at my home, and they're fantastic. But I've never had the experience where they've run over some pet poo. But I've actually seen videos where exactly that has happened. And you can imagine it's got some little spinning mechanisms underneath it. And when it runs over poo, it actually takes that poo and spreads it around quite nicely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, geez, people are eating, mate. So don't be quite so descriptive. We understand. How does it avoid it?
Well, what they did was they took a whole bunch of Play-Doh and they made a bunch of different shapes. They got the cameras in the room to take photos of it, and essentially it now recognises when it sees animal poo, and they guarantee, and this isn't very often that a technology company will make a guarantee like this, they guarantee that it will not run over any pet poo with the new, it's called the J7 Plus is the new model. It will not run over any pet poo. It will avoid it. So it uses cameras, it takes photographs or videos as it's going, and then when it sees a poo there, it says, oh, I know what that is, I'll go around it. If it's not sure, if it thinks, you know what, that might be, it may not be, it actually sends a photo of what it sees in front of it to your smartphone, so you can actually say, yes, that is poo, please avoid, or no, that's rubbish, please go and vacuum that up. So it actually learns as it goes forward.
All right, so what about Junior, who has a tantrum and starts chucking food on the floor, in the kitchen floor, and bounces and goes into the carpet in the next room? Will it recognise that?
Well, if that food doesn't look like poo, then it'll be fine. So a nice orange carrot, for example, it'll be fine. It'll pick that up. But if they manage to get something that looked like poo, then it would actually avoid that. So I was just trying to think of what food might look like poo, but I'm not sure.
Poo, let's move on. Foxtel are launching the IQ5. That's a set-top box that Foxtel have, and you don't have to have any wires anymore. You don't have to plug anything in. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, to a certain extent. They've finally gotten away from their satellite connection, and to me, Richard, it feels like they've actually woken up a little bit too late. While all these other streaming devices are out there, you can buy Apple TVs and Telstra TVs and smart TVs, and they're all using connections to the internet. Good old Foxtel, they've been sitting there installing satellite dishes on everyone's house saying, no, our TV channels come via satellite, that's the way it works. They've had with their set-top boxes the ability to connect to the internet and actually stream some of those shows if you missed a certain show. But the primary mechanism, the primary delivery mechanism for Foxtel has been satellite. And I've had people talk to me over the last couple of years saying, why are we still doing this via satellite? And I haven't known the answer to that. Finally, someone at Foxtel said, hey, there's this thing called the internet. Maybe we should use that. So the new IQ5 will, I think, be a huge success because it means you've just got that one step taken out of the process. People have normally got enough data, got a good enough internet connection. They just put the set-top box in and get the channels that they want. Now, it's probably still relevant for people that live in our region out further west from us, Richard, where you don't have internet access to some of those places. Some of those areas, yeah, sure, satellite still makes sense to them, but I just think getting away from the primary mechanism of satellite makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so you've got all your other ones. You've got Netflix and you've got Prime and Amazon all coming through your smart TV. That means, and you've got a box for that, of course. And that means another box in the cupboard somewhere to pick up Foxtel as well.
Well, I think it'll be a process that people have got Foxtel now. The big unit they've got there that's got a whole bunch of nothing inside it will be replaced by this much smaller box. And again, it won't need that satellite connectivity. So the dish sitting on your roof, it'll probably just stay up on your roof, but you won't need to connect to it anymore. But it's more new connections. And you get people in apartment blocks, for example, it's a bit of an issue for them because they've got to have Foxtel dish installed and run through the whole apartment block. Whereas now this will make it much easier.
Yep, you're there.
I'm still there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, you're still here. We've got something in our box at the moment, I think, with the internet. All right. Anti-radiation phone stickers very quickly.
This is something I'm still amazed that we still see this sort of stuff, Richard. The thing that gets me, and I still see people from time to time come in and they've got their phone in a case that protects them from radiation. And this one here is stickers. They've been reported to the Advertising Standards Authority in the UK, this particular one, back in January this year. For 8 months, they've been going past the advice from the ASA to say you've got to take that down. And the logic here is crazy. If you could put a sticker on your phone that would stop the radiation, then it would stop your phone from working. If you put your phone in a case that did stop all EMF, all electromagnetic fields from leaving that phone, then your phone would be useless because it needs to transmit those signals to a tower somewhere within a couple of kilometres away. So when people tell me they've got these particular devices on their phone protecting them from radiation, I say, well, your phone mustn't work. And finally, the penny drops eventually, Richard, and they say, oh, I can see what you're saying. But still, there's these things called smart dots being sold via Amazon, being sold on the internet. They're against every regulation known to mankind in terms of fair advertising and truth in advertising. They make these ridiculous claims about protecting you from EMF fields, but of course they've done tests on them, and some scientists did some tests back in January and said there is no difference whatsoever from having the sticker on your phone to not having it on your phone. So please, people, stop buying them, but people keep continuing to buy them.
Yeah, well, there's suckers out there at the moment.
That's one way to put it.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, no. When I say that, we're being more and more conned, unfortunately. Cyber, we're going to talk about cyber. We've run out of time. Look, I'm going to play a quick song, and then I'm going to come back and ask you to talk a little bit about what's happening with all the new Apple devices.
Sure thing.
If you don't mind waiting.
Happy.
Okay, DCFM 88.9. It's 9:30, as I said. Mathew Dickerson with Tech Talk, around about 9:20 every Wednesday morning, and back with him very shortly.